Okay. Well, this is one where I would really like to focus on helping a certain group. And what I say is because I'm saying this from, it's kind of a personal thing with me because when I was a school teacher before, I ran into the unique problem of not making enough money to qualify for Maui Lani to get a home, and also making too much money to qualify for affordable housing. And that is a problem. I mean, we got people that are educating our youth and, you know, basically shaping the future, and we can't put them in a home. And it's not just teachers, but the people of that income bracket. And I found that as a huge problem when I was a teacher of, you know, not being able to qualify because I don't make enough, and then making too much to qualify here. And that is really the area I really like to be able to find a way to focus on helping that group in the middle with this one.
Thank you.
John?
All right, next question is for Don, and you'll have 1.5 minutes to answer this question. It's about infrastructure. Maui's infrastructure has fallen behind as population has grown. What are the solutions and who should pay for it? Should it be paid for by property taxes, impact fees charged to developers, gas tax increases, more buses? What ideas do you have?
Well, first of all, if we're talking about the infrastructure of our county, I think what we need to do is start making sure that we're, as a council or as a government entity, we're out there searching for other sources, like for instance, the 2012 bill that came out from the legislation that actually brought in about $414 million in appropriations to actually repair and maintain public entities and public structures. So we need to be a little bit more aggressive in trying to reach out and grab some of those funds to get people back to work in building our infrastructure. We can look at where are we going to find the money to do the infrastructure. I think the money will actually, if we look at redeveloping in certain areas in terms of fixing our roads, our bridges, our waterways, all of those are critical economic engines to provide for revenue that will come in to the county. We need to look at other sources as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Alan, the next question is for you. You have 1.5 minutes to answer. Alan, you're running for the Kahului residence seat, and we would like to know how long you have been living in Kahului. What do you see as the main issues here, and how would you solve the problem?
I became a resident in Kahului again August of 2011, because my 92-year-old mom, she was getting a little frail at that time, so my wife and I decided we'd better go back and take care of her. You know, after all, she's 92, and pretty much she's overall, she's a pretty healthy woman. She kind of takes care of us on the other sense. And what was the second part of the question?
What do you see as the main issue facing Kahului, and how would you solve them?
The biggest issue we have is drainage issues. Kahului is pretty much about 2 feet. In the middle of Kahului is like 2 feet below sea level. So when we do have that big 20-year storms or 10-year storms, we fill up like a pond in those areas. And that is one of our biggest issues, is the drainage. We have addressed some of it, but we need to address more of the drainage issues in Kahului. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. And Aaron, next question is for you, 1.5 minutes to answer. Maui's infrastructure has fallen behind as population has grown. What are the solutions, and who should pay for it? Should be paid for by property tax increases, impact fees charged to developers, gas tax increases, more buses, or any other ideas that you have?
Well, I would fix that real simple. I see too much spending going to inappropriate places. One being nonprofit organizations, and when I see that, look, I'm all about helping good causes. I really am, but it's not the government's place to do that, especially when we're in a time where we have lots of economic needs, and a lot of these issues you're talking about does require, the money from the government. So what I would do is just really look at where we're spending money where we shouldn't be spending money, and then spend the money in the appropriate places, such as the infrastructure. That's what I would do.
Thank you.
Okay,
Your question.
we're on a home stretch now. This question is for Aaron. You'll have 2 minutes. What question do you wish that we had asked you? And please answer the question.
Okay. Well, I would have liked to have had you guys ask how I plan to cut spending, because I think that is one of the problems that we have, with our government is overspending, and that's always an issue. And I would cut spending really simply by going through the government and see where we have too many people doing one job. Like, here's an example of what I'm talking about. Now, this is an example of state and not county, but it is an example that shows what I'm talking about. Like, right now, I am a substitute teacher. I'm not a regular teacher, but I am a sub. Every year, when I renew, I turn my papers into the district office, and they forward those papers to an agency, and then that agency forwards it to an agency, and then that agency forwards it to an agency before I finally get reapproved. So basically, the paperwork changes hands about 4 or 5 times just to get one thing done, and I'm adamantly opposed to that. That to me is overspending that we really need to stop. And it's basically you got 3 people changing a light bulb, and that's where we don't need it, and that's overspending. Because see, government's opposite of business. Like, when business grows, it generally makes more money. But government, the more it grows, the more we spend. So I think it's generally good to cut the size of government, and that's how you spend less.
Thank you, Aaron. Alan, the same question? 2 minutes.
Same question to ask a question.
Okay. Okay. Let me put it back. What question do you wish that we had asked you? And please answer the question.
Thank you. Anyway, the question that I wished you had asked me would be, what would we do, or what I would do, to help out small businesses? What I would do, and what I would want to do, is to put a moratorium on regulations on small businesses, and visit the issues when the chance arises, to see if we can amend some of those issues, or we can eliminate some of those issues. Because as a small business owner, we know that we have so much regulations put upon us that it is very difficult for the small business to make a real big goal here in Maui. We have some of the, like I was in the restaurant business, we have some of the toughest fire prevention ordinances in the state of Hawaii, even compared to California. Our fire codes are very strict, and it costs the small business owner to be compliant a lot of money. For instance, we put in a stainless steel hood. They require stainless steel. Everybody else, you can do galvanized. But here on Maui, it has to be a stainless steel hood. And that costs you about 3 times more than a galvanized hood. The fire system that needs to be in place costs you about $6,000. So, there's a lot of things put upon the small businesses that needs to be visited. And I asked the question, how many restaurants you see burned down because of the fire system, because of the hood system in it? Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. John, would you like me to say it again?
Yeah, why don't you repeat the question?
Okay. What question do you wish that we had asked you? And if you could answer the question.
Okay, I'm going to just make it really simple. I think the question that I would have liked to have received is, what's it like to run for a first time as a candidate in Maui County? And so my response to that would be that it's a big sacrifice for one's family to go out there and campaign and meet all and figure out all the issues within the county. But I think that it's all worth it because of the fact that you get a chance to actually meet all the different type of people within the different communities, understand their issues, and go forward. And I think that that's what this county needs, someone that is going to be flexible enough and intelligent enough, has the education